Recording in progress.
Hello there, and welcome to this short all levels somatic yoga flow, which is here to support your mental health, help you in recalibrating your mind and your body, and to give you more of a sense of ease and regulation and calm within your day. Now, quick rundown of props that you might like to have. A yoga mat's going to be helpful. If you don't have one, however, just a piece of ground, a towel rolled out, some sort of space is going to be perfect. You might like a cushion or pillows or squishy things. If you have yoga blocks, those can be helpful. If not, think thick books, soup cans, jars, anything around your house that's going to enable lifting the earth up a little bit is going to work a treat. So you may like to pause the video while you grab those things. And then when you are ready, hit play again and come and meet me on your mat. Now, before we begin moving, a little bit around our intention for today's practice. Now, when we think of our mental health, often we go to the mind, right? We think about the thoughts going on in our mind. We think about the stress of the mental load of everything that we have to do. And we're very much up here. However, more and more research is proving that the mind and the body are incredibly interlinked and they are absolutely not separate entities. So often the stresses of the mind become trapped and held within the body. And in order to move those stresses through and discharge them so that we can come back to regulation, we actually have to use the body to create that flow of energy, to discharge those stresses and as a result, clear the mind. So we can't kind of solve the problem with the same issue that caused it, so to speak. So we'd have to bring that body into play. And that's where somatic practices, like we're going to begin with today, and then mindful movement and breath, such as yoga, can be so powerful because we're really landing in our felt physical experience of being in our body in this moment. And when we're here in this moment, it's impossible to worry about what's coming or what has been or anything else. We're fully here. And through that process, we're able to find that regulation back within our mind and body. So that's our intention for today, is to create space in the body to discharge the stresses of the mind using this amazing vehicle that we have, and to hopefully leave you feeling a little more balanced and a little more regulated. We'll begin with some gentle breath. We'll then move into some movement. And of course, I will give lots of options. This is an all levels class. And then we'll end with a shavasana, or a very short kind of relaxation and meditation. As always, please remember this is your body and your practice, so you do you, listen to its cues, take breaks when you need to, modify as required, and make sure that this practice serves you in the best way possible. Okay, let's begin here. You may like to sit on a cushion or a pillow so that you can have your hips a little higher than your knees, creating lots of space for the abdomen here as we breathe. And then let's start to settle into the body. So we'll begin just by rolling the shoulders here, bringing them up to the ears, feeling the shoulder blades move towards each other on your back, and then sliding or melting those shoulder blades down the back body. Again, just finding this lift, connect, and then slide down. Perhaps even closing the eyes as we feel the tension release shoulders here. That term, the weight of the world on our shoulders, can feel so embodied sometimes, right? We really do hold so much stress and tension in this area. And that's why we're beginning here, just giving it a little bit of love. Beautiful. Finishing by dropping those shoulders down and back. Lots of space and openness across the chest as we now drop the left ear to the left shoulder, bringing a stretch into the neck. And if you'd like a little more, you can reach the right wrist away, drawing the fingers up towards you here. For even more, we can take that left hand and just place it atop of the right ear. And we're not tugging or pulling here. Instead, we're just giving ourselves a compassionate bit of touch and weight through that hand, enhancing that stretch. Beautiful. And then we'll switch sides. So right ear, right shoulder, level 1 here. Level 2, reach that opposite arm away. Level 3, taking that hand to the top ear. So we're just finding some gentle movement to begin here so that we can transition from whatever was happening before this class into now. Just allowing the body to kind of cross the threshold from doing to being. Nice. Take the ear back to that first side, and now we'll draw some big circles with the head. So chin to chest, finding right ear, right shoulder, and then if it feels okay for you, tilting the head back to look at the sky. Continuing the rotations in this direction, moving as fast or as slow as feels good for you. And then we'll reverse these circles, coming back the other way now. If you feel any tight bits along the way that need a little more care and attention, feel free to linger, enjoy the stretch. And then bringing that head back to neutral when you've done an even amount of rotations on each side. Beautiful. Okay, we're now going to find some somatic practices. These are really powerful but subtle ways for us to land in our body and bring that nervous system into a more parasympathetic branch. So away from fight, flight, freeze, and fawn, and into that rest, digest, receive, and repair mode. So this first one's really nice and simple. We're going to once again tilt the right ear to the right shoulder. And now we're going to take our gaze and look up towards the top corner of our space. So we're kind of looking up and out of the left corner of the eye, the left eye. Notice what you notice here. Any sensations? Nice. And then come back to center with the gaze, lift the head. And then other side, so left ear to left shoulder. And then take that gaze up towards the top right corner. Finding your breath. Beautiful. Return the gaze to center, coming back to midline. We'll now find some bilateral stimulation. So we're going to cross the arms to our opposite shoulders and find these gentle little butterfly taps here. And we want to find quite a steady rhythm, almost like the rhythm of a heartbeat here. As we find this bilateral stimulation, bringing each hemisphere of the brain online and helping ourselves to feel very contained and safe within our body. You may even like to close down your eyes here, almost like you're giving yourself a little hug, a loving tap. Noticing the sounds, the sensations. Really nice. Continuing here for one more round of breath. And release that. So lovely. Okay, now we're just going to shake out those hands, shake the arms, shake the head, shake the face, perhaps even like blubber the lips. Get everything moving and shaking here. And then let it go as we place the hands, palms down onto our thighs here, that sense of anchoring and grounding. Beautiful. Now we'll inhale, circle those arms up and above the head. And as we exhale, finding a seated twist. So that left hand's going to come outside the right knee as we turn and look over the shoulder here. Again, you might like to bring that eye gaze into play, looking up and out towards the right top corner. And then come back through center, nice big breath in, arms circle. And then second side as we exhale and twist, looking over the left shoulder now, perhaps taking the gaze up and out towards the left corner. Nice, start with the head as we unravel. Just find a little shimmy and a shake here. And then we'll make our way into a tabletop position. So moving any props out of the way that you might have been using. And coming onto your hands and your knees here. We want to spread the fingers nice and wide. Find about two fist width distance for your knees and then place them under your hips. And then from here, we'll find some cat-cows. So as we breathe in, we're going to drop the belly, scoop the tailbone, burst the heart through the shoulders as we take the gaze up. And then as we exhale, pressing into the earth as we tuck the tailbone around the spine and find chin to chest. Nice. Again, inhale, scooping everything forward, gaze lifts. Exhale as we press and round. And then we're just going to flow through these two shapes here, being really present for the journey between the shapes. So rather than rushing or racing to find your full expression of the pose, can you simply enjoy the process of moving your body in this way? Continuing to allow that breath to flow. And perhaps as soon as you reach the end range of motion, then moving in towards the other shapes. We've got this continuous fluid-like motion here. And at any point, feel free to make this movement a little more organic, a little more your own. Perhaps that looks like drawing some figure eights with your hips. Maybe you're going to rock forwards and backwards on the mat. Perhaps you want to find some more lateral stretches as you swish the hips and look over your shoulder towards that. I always like to kind of close my eyes here and just let my body guide me. So rather than thinking about how I should look or worrying about what anybody else is doing, you just tune in to what your body needs in this moment. Really nice. We'll take one more breath here. And then on your next exhale, we'll find an extended child's pose. So big toes are coming together here, knees wide, as we guide the hips back over the heels, reaching the palms forward and melting the heart between the shoulders. Forehead can come to the mat, or if that's too much of a stretch, perhaps take a block or a pillow to support the weight of your head there. As we take a breath in, feel that breath lifting and rising the back of your body. As you breathe out, can you find that sense of surrender as you melt the heart towards the earth? Beautiful. One more round, just like that. Big breath in, filling up, expanding, taking up space. And then breathe out as you melt and soften. Okay, we're going to stay nice and low to the ground here, leading with the crown as we move forward and come onto our puku, onto our belly. Sitting up for a sphinx pose here. So elbows will come under shoulders. And we'll gently drag the mat back with our fingertips as we once again find that opening, that stretch through the chest. Sphinx pose here. If this is too much, you can stack the hands, finding a crocodile pose by placing the forehead on the backs of the hands instead. Nice. Otherwise, finding a round of breath here. Perhaps exhaling it out with an audible sigh. Really nice. Lowering the head down. We'll take the hands aside the floating ribs. Now elbows tucked in as we find a little baby cobra. Inhale. And exhale, controlled descent back down. Nice. Two more times. Inhale, undulate through the spine as we lift up. Exhale, lower. Just enjoying this moment to move and breathe purely for the sake of nourishing your mind and your body here. Really nice. Okay, this time we'll press back up through tabletop and then tuck the toes, send the hips up and back behind us as we come into a downward facing dog here. And as you arrive, you may like to pedal through the feet, bend one knee and then the other, nice and deep. Perhaps swaying your hips side to side feels good. Use this as an opportunity to let your body lead, to tell you what it wants and what it needs here. Nice. Eventually we'll find some stillness in this down dog, breathing in as we press firmly through the hands and the feet, feeling that activate the muscles of the arms, the legs, the core. And then breathe out as we soften. Think about heart drawing towards the thighs. Knees can be as bent as you need here. Really nice. Okay, from here, let's unravel forward into a plank pose. So we start with the feet. We just ripple the body forward and out to a, and feel free here to drop the knees and find a supported plank or even a tabletop by walking the hands in under the shoulders. That high plank also an option. Breathing in, and then as you breathe out, let's draw the hips back to downward facing dog. Awesome. Two more times. Again, finding that kind of undulating, fluid-like rhythm to your movement here. Exhale, draw the hips up and back. One more round. Inhale, ripple forward. Exhale as we send it all back. So nice. Okay, we're going to bring the right foot in between the hands now. So looking forward. Feel free to drop to tabletop in order to transition here, or otherwise just stepping that right foot through and then dropping that left knee. As we inhale, we'll swoop those arms up, coming into Anjaneyasana. Breathe it in. Really nice. Breathe out here as we cactus the arms. Keep the hips nice and low and forward. This time as we breathe in, we'll press firmly into that front foot, lift up and out, find length through the arms. And then breathe out as we sink, cactus the arms. Lovely. 2 more times. Breathe it in, lift it up. Breathe it out, sink it down. Breathe it in, lift it up and out. And then breathe it out, sinking it down. Really nice. From here, we're just going to swivel on that back knee, bringing it out 90 degrees, and then extend the arms as we just readjust that foot, finding a little mini warrior two here. So our front toes are facing forward, that back shin is parallel with the back of our mat. And then same idea, as we breathe in, we'll press firmly into that front foot, lengthen the leg and arms reach up and overhead. And then as we breathe out, we'll sink into our mini warrior. Beautiful. Breathe it in, lifting it up, finding that length along the side body. Breathe it out, sink it down. Gaze is strong and focused over that middle finger. Breathe it out and sink. Nice. From here, we'll reverse our warrior. So this left hand can come to a block or your back calf muscle, or maybe the mat as you breathe in. Find a nice big lateral stretch here. Right knee guiding open. And then breathe out, a little baby side angle. Right elbow, right knee, left arm comes up and over. If you'd like a little more, you can drop that hand to a block or to the floor. Really nice. Breathe it in, lift back up, mini warrior. And then as we breathe out, we'll cut forward, swivel that knee. We're going to tuck the toes of that back foot so we can lift that left knee up. And then right hand stays down as we open the right arm to the sky, drop that right hip. You can always take a block or an earth raiser of some kind under that left arm here if you feel like you need a little more length through the spine. Really nice. Perhaps circle out through that right wrist up ahead. And then hands frame that front foot, and we'll take a little flow here. So this right foot is going to step back to meet the left in either a plank or a supported plank. And then we'll come through a chaturanga or a knees, chest, chin as we drop the body down. Scoop up and into either a cobra or an upward facing dog. And then exhale, hips move up and back. Find that downward facing dog, returning to that home base here. Taking a breath in as we plug hands and feet into earth. Taking a breath out as we melt the heart towards the thighs, soften the knees. Really nice. Second side, looking between the hands, inhaling as we step that left foot forward and through, dropping the back knee. Breathe it in, lift everything up, arms rise. And then breathe it out, cactus those arms. This time we're going to press into that front foot, yielding into the earth as we come up. And then dropping everything down. Feel those shoulder blades melt down the back, just like we did in our little warm-up at the beginning of the session. Really nice. One more round here. Breathe in, find length, find pride through the chest. And then exhale, sink and open. Really nice. Okay, that little mini warrior now as we swivel on that right knee, extend the arms long and drop into that left hip. Breathe in, press up and out, arms rise up. Breathe out as we sink it down low. 2 more rounds, lift up. Exhale, sink. Enjoy the breath, the movement. Notice how it feels to be in your body today. Nice. From here, we're finding that reverse. Left arm swoops towards the back of our space. And then your little baby side angle, left elbow to knee, or maybe hand to block or floor as we reach, particularly through the ring finger of that right arm here. Really nice. Lift yourself up and back into your mini warrior, and then swivel again on that back knee, coming back towards that lunge. This time we'll tuck the right toes, lift that right knee, and open that left arm to the sky here, feeling that openness through your heart space, circling that top wrist if that feels good. Really nice. From here, finding your flow, so hand frames that foot, stepping back to a plank or a supported plank, and then taking your knees, chest, chin, or your chaturanga. Find your back bend, and then send it all back, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Once again, finding your breath here. Breathe in, connect with the earth below, and then breathe out. Soften into your body. Okay, this time as our inhale arrives, we'll once again step that right foot between our hands. This time we're going to keep the back knee elevated as we lift up and in, full crescent pose here. And take your time, feel into your body, offer yourself that loving support in order to find a pose here, a variation of this pose that works for you. And then as we breathe in, we'll lengthen out of the front leg, arms stay lifted. As we breathe out, we'll bend that front knee and once again cactus those arms. Nice, 2 more rounds, finding that flow, that rhythm, marrying our breath with our movement here. Really nice. From here, we'll lift up and out. And then that back foot is just going to swivel open 45 degrees or 90 degrees, sorry, so that we can then bend that front knee, find a full expression of warrior two. And again, you choose your own adventure here. So you can drop nice and low, really firing up that front quad. Or maybe you want to be a little bit gentler with yourself today and just find a mini bend. Figure out what works best for you and your body today. And then breathe in, pressing into that front foot as we lift up. Breathe out as we sink it down. 2 more times here. Beautiful. From here, stay nice and low in that front leg. Find your reverse warrior. Almost like you're painting with your hands here. Swoop that left arm up and over, side angle. Elbow to knee, hand to block, hand to floor, whatever works for your practice. And then nice big strong left, warrior two. Spiral those arms forward. We're on the ball of the back foot now. Left hand is down on the mat or a block. Right arm lifts up to sky. Easy twist. And then from here, taking that flow or head straight back to downward facing dog. So much of yoga your body and your needs and giving yourself what you need for that day with compassion. Maybe that's styling things back. Maybe that's ramping things up. The more we practice, the better we get at attuning to our needs. And the more empowered and confident we become to give ourselves what we need, knowing that we deserve it. And that we serve those people around us better when we are coming from a place of overflow, when a cup has been filled. So preparing now for our final round of the sequence, breathing in as we look forward, step the left foot between those hands, swooping it all up, finding that crescent pose, really nice. Inhale, breathe in, find length through the front leg. Exhale, breathe out and sink, cactus those arms, feel the shoulder blades melt down the back. 2 more here. This time finding length. And then spiraling that back foot open, sinking into that front knee, extending strongly through the fingertips as we find warrior two. Breathe in here, lengthen, look up. Breathe out, sink and melt. 2 more. As you inhale now, find that reverse of your warrior. And then exhale, swooping that top arm up and over. Find your side angle. Think here about spiraling the chest towards the sky as we reach through the ring finger of that top arm. And then inhale, re-lift warrior two. Cartwheel that back arm forward, spiraling on the ball of that foot. Left arm swoops us open here. Nice. And then taking that flow or heading straight back to your downward facing dog. Nice, yogis. Okay, from here, we're going to walk the hands back to meet the feet. Feel free to bend through the knees as much as you need here. Finding yourself at the back of your space, and then we'll just hold opposite elbows. Let the head hang nice and heavy like a bowling ball, and simply sway side to side here. And as we hang and sway, you may even like to visualize all of the mental clutter, all of the thoughts, all of the beliefs, ideas that aren't helpful, just falling out the top of your head here, almost like you've opened a hatch, and then just dropping out, being reabsorbed into the earth below. Really nice. Finding some stillness here as we breathe in, we'll find a halfway lift. And then breathe out, sigh it out to fold forward. This time, ground through those feet. We'll hinge at the hips. Rise all the way up to standing arms above the head. Exhale as we connect the palms and draw the hands through midline to join at heart center. Okay, now we'll find a tree pose. Now we've got options. You're welcome to use a wall to support for some balance, or we can stand in the center if balance is feeling okay today. And I encourage you here to begin this balance on the leg that feels less strong, your kind of less strong side when it comes to balancing. What we're going to do here is just kind of rewire some neural pathways by flipping things up and trying things in a new order. So choose that less favored leg, ground that foot into the earth, and really think about hugging that outer hip in. And then your options for the other leg as we turn it out, we can bring the heel to the ankle, the lower leg, or perhaps into that groin region here. The only place we want to avoid is the knee joint. Knees are amazing joints, but they're not made to go sideways, so let's not encourage that. And then hands, if you're not having them on the wall, can come to heart center. Finding a tiny little lift of your chin here as you stand proud and look out straight ahead of you. Finding your drishti, your focus here. As you breathe within your body. And if you wobble or if you fall, remember that the yoga is in how you respond to that. Can we be ourselves with compassion and gentleness and grace? And then just gently try again, rather than berating or judging or making excuses for why we fell. Just accept that we're human, we wobble. And then gently bring yourself back. Really nice. Release that when you're ready. Perhaps have a little shake out of that supporting leg. And then we'll find that balance on the other side. If you can, try and take the same variation that you did on side one. She says as she falls over. And then once again, find that focus, that drishti, connect the palms. Feel the support here of the earth below you as it almost rises up to meet your foot and your foot yields into it below. Let's notice all the little mini micro movements happening in your ankle joint in order to keep you upright here. Notice the strength of your core. And then that ever-present breath that is always here for us as an anchor, as a guide, as an opportunity to reset and come back to baseline. Okay, beautiful. When you're ready, release that. Shaking the leg out, circling through the shoulders. We'll make our way back down to the mat now. So come into the front of your space. Feet hip distance apart as we breathe in, circle those arms up. Maybe a little back bend is here for you. And then exhale, bend the knees as much as you need as you hinge and fall forward. Inhale, finding your halfway lift. And then we'll take one final flow here, moving almost as if we're moving through honey as we step back to our plank or supported plank. Finding that chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Oozing up and into your back bend. And then this time dropping the knees to the floor, big toes together as we once again find that child's pose here, surrendering to the moment, to the practice, to all that is. Starting to consciously slow your breath here in child's pose. Focusing on extending that exhale. Using your breath to send a message to your body that you are safe. All is well. And in doing this, your body naturally relaxes. And when your body relaxes, your mind follows suit. Taking one more deep round of breath here. And then we'll gently walk the hands in to meet the knees as we lift the body up. Leaning to one side, just swishing those legs out in front of you here, and feel free to sit yourself on a pillow or a block here to find a little more length through your spine. Here we'll draw the toes back towards the face as we find that length in the upper body. Breathe it in. And then as you breathe it out, just hinging forward from the hips as far as is available for you. When you limit, allowing the head to drop, a natural curve to come into the upper spine, and feeling that stretch up the back of the body, all the way from the heels, up the calves, the hamstrings, over the glutes, up either side of the spine, into the neck, up and over the scalp, connecting at the forehead here. And then on your next inhale, lifting up, we'll take a little counter stretch. Hands come behind. We can point through the feet as we now draw the shoulder blades towards each other, opening through the chest. Gaze can lift, or maybe you can drop that head back. Really coming back to center. And then we'll come to lie all the way down, tucking the knees into the chest. Perhaps you want to rock and roll across the back here, massaging out through the lower spine. And then we'll take the arms out into a T as we drop both knees over to one side, finding a twist. For a little more, you can turn the gaze away from the legs. Again, that conscious lengthening of the exhale. And coming back through center. Dropping the knees to the second side, gaze turns away if that's okay for your neck. And then slight activation of the core as we draw the knees back in, reaching the feet and the hands towards the sky now, simply circling through the ankles one way and then the other. Maybe a little jiggle and a shake again with that imagery of everything that's unhelpful that's been stored in your body, just kind of like a releasing here, falling off like water drops. And then from here, taking any final movements, stretches, jiggles that your body is asking for, and eventually making your way to your Shavasana. So here you may like to slide a pillow or a bolster underneath your legs. You may like to place something weighted over your pelvis for a little more grounding and sense of safety here. And if this all still feels a little too vulnerable for you, then you're welcome to find a side lying Shavasana, more of a fetal position like this. So again, practice that body awareness here, that interoception. Notice what's going on internally and how you can best support that process. And then hands can either come out to the sides, palms facing the sky in a gesture of receptivity, or you can place one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart, as you connect in with yourself a little deeper. Taking a final beautiful big breath in here, filling up the belly, the ribs, the chest, the throat. And then an audible sigh as you exhale it all out. Allowing this practice to integrate into your body here as you soften through the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet. Release inside the ears, across the forehead. Soften the muscles of the eyes. And rest through the jaw. Releasing the belly and the pelvic floor here. Allowing the entire body to feel dense and heavy, like wet bags of sand. Knowing you are completely held by the earth below. You are so safe here. This is where I will leave you. Please feel free to stay if you have the time. Every minute spent in Shavasana is like a gentle hug for your nervous system, and it's going to bring you more into that sense of regulation. When you do move, please take your time, move easily and mindfully, drink plenty of water. And I celebrate you and honor you for carving out this time for your practice, for your mental and physical health. Knowing that you are not only filling your own cup, but also that of those that you serve around you. As we finish up here, I'll bring my hands to the center of my chest in a gesture of acknowledgement, of respect. And until next time, thank you so much for joining me.